Okay, well, here we are. I thought I would do something a little different for a change. Instead of just faking it with a set, I'm actually following a set pattern from 1954. I have this reproduction of How to Handle Long Hair by Miss Ingrid, and she did all of these styles from one set pattern. So I thought I'd give my doll head at least the idea of the set pattern. So I'm going to show you what I've done so far for the sake of being able to see what's going on. I didn't want to do the whole doll head on camera because it kind of takes a while. So I'm going to start by showing you the side, which has these curls here and what she calls doubles or ridge curls. And what I've done is used, so there's a row of pin curls followed up by this row of doubles, and to really set in the ridge I have secured it with single prong clips. And then I have also gone ahead, and I'll show you as well, this is what the back set pattern looks like, and I've chosen to go ahead and do the middle 2 rows plus the curls from the side, which once more have a ridge in them, and so I've secured that ridge here. I'll be showing how to make this happen from the right side of the doll head, and I haven't done anything with the crown just yet. So start with, I think I'm actually going to start with the back. See if I can show how I'm securing these pin curls in here. But first I'm going to spray her down with a little Miracle Creator. Not so much for a setting spray, but more of a let her do some healing and repair while she is in her set, and then we'll be using water to soak her down. It is highly recommended that you keep the hair as damp as possible without it dripping. So I'm going to start with the first one here and just set it. So we're going to start by basically combing straight back, or as close to straight back as I can, ribboning the hair, and wrapping around, in this case, my left index finger until I get to the end. So if you can kind of see, there's a ribbon down my finger. I get to the end. Some of the hair decides it doesn't want to play with my little rules, and then set the curl, and then I'm going to roll it forward. Roll it forward, and then set it basically forward and up, and I'm using a single prong clip to secure the curl. So we're going to leave that. So I'm going to see if I can get up close so I can show you what that looks like. Oh, come off there, doll head. So it has been rolled and then set up and pushed a little forward so we can start working on this ridge here. Then we're going to do the same thing. The pattern repeats all the way down. I'm taking about, because these are long sections, I'm taking about 1/2 inch wide sections. I want to make sure it's good and damp so that we can create style. So once more, I'm pulling straight back, ribboning the hair, wrapping it around my finger, and then telescoping in, and then continuing to roll the hair into a curl. And when we get a little close, then it's going to be pushed forward and up and secured with a single prong clip. In most circumstances, I would be securing this with hairpins like I did on the front side. I just don't have enough hairpins to do it, so I'm going to continue with the single prong clips for this. I normally, in regular situations, will use the single prong clip only for short hair because it stays better. But times being what they are, I'm using it for the back section so I can save my single prong clips, or my hairpins, excuse me, for the front section where I want to have a little bit more smoothness and the style that I'm looking for. So we telescope it down into a curl and then roll it and then push it up and forward and secure with a single prong clip. And I'm just gonna real quickly pull this off. Oh, she sticks. Just to kind of show what's going on. So you can see that they're up and forward. So up and forward, up and forward. This one might need to be reclipped. I will set that ridge in once I get to the end of the section, then I will set the ridge in as well. So, continuing in the pattern, more water. Also, under normal circumstances, I would be doing this on a washed and damp head of hair, but I don't wash her that often because of her hair color. I don't think that she needs that much washing, but for a regular person, this would be done on a freshly washed and damp head. So rolling, and then pushing up and forward with the clip. Go, keep going, another ½ inch down or so. This is the only thing I think, like, I can get real zen about doing the curls, like just get in here and kind of turn off my mind and go through and just create. Once I know what the overall idea is, what the overall direction is, then I just get in here and do. So just trying my best to demonstrate the pattern. So forward and up, another clip. We'll do it again, I think, maybe 3 more. This side looks much bigger than the other side, so hard to say. I may have parted it a little off center. Yeah, I think there'll be 3 more here. And this doll's hair isn't as long as the hair demonstrated in the template of the book. However, I still think it's long enough to achieve success using this set style. Here we go. And then we go here. 2 more little curls. 2 more little curls. I hope we can kind of see what I'm doing. Now it's a little difficult coming in from the side. I keep trying to get the best camera angles, but I feel like I've at least got the camera set a little bit better for being able to see what is going on. So, pin, last curl from the very bottom. Pull straight back towards the middle as close to the scalp as possible. Wrap around the finger and then roll. Kind of roll under, forward, and then push and place. And then pin, in this case, like I said before, with a single prong clip. And then I'm going to go ahead and just set in the ridge with a row of single prong clips. So, pardon me. I apologize for that. See if I can't show a little bit better what I'm doing exactly. And I don't like what that did. I want it to be a little more like that. Then a little bit like that, because I really want to get these ridges in here so I have the style, the base of the styling set, and part of that is the formation of the ridge. And then I'm going to come up from the bottom, my last pin, and tuck it right there. So now I have a line of pins holding the ridge. And if we look at the back as compared to the diagram, see that we have the two middle rows of curls. Oh, that one's falling apart. Don't fall apart. I'll fix it in a second. Followed by the two sides with the ridges, which are here and set in. And I have a curl that's trying to run away. That's the one teensy tiny downside to doing this and trying to keep it on camera, is that it does make it difficult to create the curls as steadily as I might like. So the next piece I'm going to do here is this front section, which is described as doing 2 rows of singles with a row of doubles, as she calls them. I'm going to be only doing, because of the spacing in the head, a single row of these singles that are going to be coming up and back above the ear, and then the row in the front that will be coming back and forward. And then I'm going to be using hairpins for these pin curls, because like I said before, these are the ones that I want to have the most smoothness and style, because you're going to see the front of the hair before you see anything else. And in a lot of cases, most of everything that's happening in the back is going to be joined up into some form of updo, chignon, something of that nature. And therefore, it's not quite as important to have them as perfect. But it's nice to have the front set in such a fashion as to encourage some smoothness, some perfection, if you will. So what we're going to do is, starting at the top, because these are all going back and around, so I want them to lay on top of each other, is to part out about a 1/2 inch wide. So we're making little 1/2 inch squares, and in this case up and back. So I'm going to actually use my right index finger to start wrapping around, and then telescope it down inside. And now this time, instead of rolling under, we're rolling in the over and forward direction. And once we have it set right on base, then I'm going to take a couple regular, let me put my hand here, regular hairpins, and set them in an X to set the curl. We're always going to use the X formation. I'm going to just hold it a little close so you can see that we've put it in at an X, basically at right angles to each other. If your curl's being a little unruly, you can go through and add a little bit more. Okay, that's fun. Stay out of the way here. You can go back and add an extra pin if you need to get a little more stability and a little more security in your styling. Then we will come back through here and wrap down the finger, holding with the tip, using, in my case, my thumbnail to guide the hair into telescoping into itself. Then we will wrap it forward until we are basically right on top of or a little bit above the base. And then 2 hairpins in a nice little X pattern. Go when I tell you. And continuing, looks like probably just 2 more here. I don't remember how many curls I put on the other side. It might have been 4, it might have been 5. Sometimes we lose track and just let it happen as long as we get the basic idea and a similar set pattern. So around my right finger, my right index finger, telescoping down, tucking things in where you want them to be, rolling forward, and then 2 hairpins in an X pattern. And then the last roll right here, a little more water. Water makes it easier to manipulate the hair and encourage it to stay together in a nice ribbon and not be as likely to fall apart before you even get your curl in. Especially with a little bit of layering I've got going on with this doll. She needs a little moisture to encourage it to stay in. Okay, and for a little security, I am going to be adding a 3rd pin to the bottom, which is going to come down and then straight up. So now I have my column of flat curls that are rolled backwards and then back to the front. So we pull back and then roll up and over towards the front of the head. Now for this row, because this is going to make that ridge that we have on the other side, we're going to be doing what Miss Ingrid, the creator of this particular set pattern, calls doubles. And doubles are, let's see if I can show you in the book here. Doubles, I hope it shows up. So if you look here, there's a longer stem and then they come up and around so that you get this beautiful ridge pattern. Long stem, up and around. So, and I'm just going to tell you, she could put them in. I wish there was more information about her because she seems like she would have been an amazing person to talk to and learn from. She used to have a beauty school in New York, so that's, I have a lot of information. I'm going to keep looking though, keep digging. Alright, so because we're going to be doing the curl and then push a little bit to create the ridge, we're going to take another small subsection, about 1/2 inch or so, 1/4 to 1/2 inch, pull it straight back, much like we were doing in the very back. Straight back. I'm going to use around my left index finger. I have a very stiff hair in here. That'll be fun. See if I can get it to play. And we're going to tuck it down, and we're going to roll just like we did in the back. We're rolling under and forward. Sorry, my hand's in the way. Under and forward, and then when we get to where we're satisfied with it, we're going to push it up and forward. So I'm getting that start of that ridge. And then, of course, the X crossed pins for stability. You can tell I'm concentrating if my tongue sticks out. All right, and then another about 1/4 to 1/2 inch sub-parting, depending on how thick the hair is and how much you want to put in this curl. And bringing it straight back, as close to the head as you possibly can, given that there are curls already sitting here. And using my left index finger, because we are going to be wrapping around and under. This is a point where a little ambidexterity comes in handy. You don't have to be perfectly ambidextrous, but it's nice to not have to get your hand all caught up in weirdness when you're trying desperately to set a curl. So that one is now rolled up and set. So we'll stick with the same pattern of a nice little X crossing and move on to the next. I think there's probably going to be 3 more curls here because I want to really get a nice wave pattern, trying to imitate the source material as close as possible. So around my left index finger, make sure the hair is nice and wet. My fingers are getting good and wrinkly. And then we take and up and forward, and a little, that is not a good pin. When they start losing their shape and aren't as tight, they don't work as well, so I don't like to use them. They're a little out of sorts. And we'll split this last little guy in half. Because she has a lot of density around the edges, not as much in the center. So we are going to utilize what her hair looks like, what it's doing. Straight back, tight to the head, around. And you do want to position your body in such a fashion as to maintain the integrity and direction of the style. And then X pinning. And we'll do 1 more of these, and then I will show you with the I'll once more be using the single prong clips to do the ridge formation, to encourage a strong ridge formation. So straight back, around the left index finger, telescope down into a curl, and come through, and put it right here while doing our little pins. And a 3rd pin just for security. It is nice to hold things where they need to go. So I will show you what we have so far is a nice row of curls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting the clips right down here to create a stronger ridge. So then here, and then last clip on this side. Once more, we are working to create a strong ridge in this curl. So when we get done, we can comb it back and create this really pretty wave style. I think I'm kind of getting on a little long, so I don't know that I'm going to, I'll just do the top myself. I will show you what it looks like. It's going to be 3 long curls followed by 2 or 3 short ridge curls, but I will, yeah, I think I'm going to just do that on my own, and then take some pictures of the set, and we'll show the comb out in a couple days once she is all dry. But it's coming together fairly well. If I hope there's learned something, or if there's any questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message and ask. And this is going to be a fairly simple, just making a, if you're making a long stem curl, you would pull it all the way back, roll around, and then just pin it as a long stem. So I feel like that's enough for today, and I will check in with everybody when she's ready to be combed out.